this is uncharted territory. It doesn't even feel normal to think, could they possibly not even make the playoffs? Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barbin. With me is Jeff Dover, and let's talk football.
We're a couple of average football fans that watch college and the NFL. We hope to earn your like and subscribe today. This is our review of the Bills-Chiefs game that just happened. What's your initial thoughts?
This game just doesn't matter.
That's your take on it?
Well, because this is 5 regular seasons games in a row that the Bills have beat the Chiefs, and 4 in a row that the Chiefs have beat the Bills in the playoffs.
Okay. So my note here was that I thought this game was terrific. I thought it was a terrific football game. I really enjoyed watching it. I thought it had good defense, good offense. I thought both teams went for it on fourth downs early at a time where you wouldn't normally do that, which I thought was great. And it just spoke to like the desperation they have about winning it. And you're right. I think at the end of the day, you know, how much of an effect is, I mean, game differences at the end of the season when you're like the, 15-2 or 13-4, something like that, do have an impact, right, on like hosting a game or not. And that's why the regular season matters. So I'd push back a little bit that it does matter, but you're correct when you talk about the history and who's won this game, and does that predict who's going to win it later? No, it doesn't.
No, absolutely. It does not predict anything, right?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is the exact same thing happened last year. They beat him by 10, I think, last year in the regular season. It felt the same as this. It was like, it's a big time game. I mean, this feels every bit like a playoff game. The way it ended, they had the Chiefs still had a few shots at the very end. Like the whole thing, you knew when the Bills were up, the Chiefs were coming back. Like there was no way they were running away with this game. You could just tell. As I was watching, I said to Dean, I'm like, "Oh, watch this. The Chiefs are going to score right here. They're not done. There's no way they're done."
And the announcers said it too, right? They're like, this game is just the third quarter, like halfway through. They're like, "Oh, this is far from over." Like, was this? Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if the Chiefs look kind of pedestrian on offense and the Bills' pass rush was all over. Put it this way: the box score and the final score betrays how dominant the Bills kind of felt all game long. And I thought, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter against the Chiefs. The Chiefs can ugly their way through any game. It just doesn't matter anymore. And then that's when I got thinking, as entertaining of a game as this was, and this was one of the best games of the year as far as maybe entertainment value, it to me, I jumped straight to it doesn't matter, because when you're discussing the Chiefs and the Bills specifically, not any other teams, just these two, because that's what we're talking about, everyone's going to look at this saying, yeah, but the Bills can't beat them in the playoffs. And last year, that's the same thing happened. The Bills put in a stellar performance in the regular season game, and they just can't get them. They just can't get them. So to me, I can't help but jump to the end. But you're correct. This game was outstanding.
Yeah, and I get you about jumping to the end. The one thing I'll point out that's different is that the Chiefs have 4 losses now, which they didn't have all of last year. So this is not last year's Chiefs team. Now, they still have Patrick Mahomes. They can still ugly the game up just like last year, we saw that. But just like last year, if you're down a possession and Mahomes is out there, they're going to have a chance, right? So, and I think that Buffalo is a really good-looking 6-2. And I think this game also might be different from last year, or the playoffs at least, where, to me, Josh Allen really outplayed Mahomes this game. So Josh Allen was 23 for 26 for 273 yards and a TD, and was very efficient. And he used his legs a little bit more in like some of the key situations, right? So, but you're right. If Kansas City beats Buffalo in the playoffs again this year, then we're really back where we started.
Yeah, I mean, we can go through the stats here. Buffalo had the time of possession edge by 35 to 25. They doubled them up in rushing. They had 100 extra yards in passing and in total yards. Like anywhere you want to look, their third down efficiency was outstanding across the board. More first downs. I mean, that's kind of, if you watch this game, the box score, at least there, kind of describes basically the game. Buffalo had the edge on them more or less the whole game. Kansas City was sort of always playing catch up, right? But I felt, and I think most people feel, like Kansas City's never actually out of the game, at least not in this one.
No, it's crazy to look at the stats and know that Kansas City's not out of it. Okay. So Mahomes completed less than 50% of his passes with no TDs and an interception. They ran as a team, they ran for 79 yards, and that's 50 from Kareem Hunt, and who was like not bad, but it was still under 100 yards rushing, and then they only had just over 200 yards the receiving. So it was a pretty dominant defensive game by Buffalo, yet it's still there within a possession. They had the ball down one touchdown with the last drive to go. So it really, as dominant as Buffalo was, Kansas City was still in it.
Yeah, and so that's kind of why that was my opening statement. It's
Right.
just, to me, that this is the story. This is the
Mhm.
story of during their run here, the Chiefs dynasty here. What have they've won their division 9 years in a row? I think they said, and the
Yeah,
Buffalo's won 5 of the last 6 or 5 in a row. Either way, these are two dominant teams in the AFC. But when it comes down to it, one of them has the other team's number in the playoffs, and you're talking about two MVP QBs that just, until he gets past him, I just can't help it. I know Buffalo fans enjoy this win, and KC fans probably feel bummerish about it, but it doesn't matter that KC's 5-4. If they make the playoffs, I would imagine most people are betting on KC to beat Buffalo in the playoffs. It's just, you'd be nuts not to.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's the past, performance would definitely indicate that. So, I'm with you about that. But I mean, if you're a Buffalo fan, you like how your team played, you like to be able to beat Kansas City, you'll take it. And it was also, it's more about how it went down, like Cook ran for 100 yards. KC hasn't given up a 100-yard rusher in I don't know how long. It was last year sometime.
Yeah.
So that means something, Josh Allen was 23 for 26 against a really good defense. That means something. So it's, this whole thing goes down the drain if Kansas City beats Buffalo again in the playoffs this year. Yeah. But if you're a fan, if you're Andrelli and you're still a Buffalo fan, then, these are things you hold on to. Right. So,
yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, it's okay. So what can we say? The Chiefs look mortal this year. They can be beat, obviously. But like I said, last year they had 2 losses, and one of them was to the Bills, and it looked kind of like this. And they still were the AFC representative. So, I mean, the Chiefs defense is still the Chiefs defense. Everything about them more or less kind of looks the same as last year. And last year it was 15-2 is tough to repeat. It's likely you're just not going to keep doing that. So so let's say they go, whatever, they have 11 wins or 12 wins, whatever it is. I at this point, I don't think it's crashing down around them, even though they're one game above 500.
Yeah, that'd be a lot. That'd be like they go 6-1 after starting 5-4 or something like that. So
let's have a look. Let's see.
That'd be quite the turnaround. But yeah, I think the takeaway, again, Buffalo, they were able to beat them, and they beat them well. And now saying that, it really did feel like an excellent game by Buffalo when you beat them by one possession. Like, it's not like they killed them, So, but yeah, it was the only part that I had to. The other note that I had here was that I was about to lose my mind at the end. One of the things we've talked before in this program is when you have a lead and you do the prevent defense, right? And you just keep everything in front of you, and you're just like, oh, we're just, because it's going to take them time to matriculate in the field. And I get it. I get that idea. It drives me nuts as a fan watching it, because all of a sudden there's this team that you've held to, like the running back under 50 yards rushing, the QB under 50% completion, all of a sudden just start lighting it up and moving it down the field. The first pass Mahomes completed when they had the ball back, like with 40 seconds to go, was like a 30-yard pass, like just and all of a sudden they're at midfield and it's like 20 seconds to go. And you're like, Jesus, like, you can't give up that much that fast, like with this, now it still was like not much time, and they only could throw it deep a couple times and whatever, but still, that was my first thought with the prevent defense really doesn't work.
Well, with 20, what did they left them 22 seconds with no timeouts by the time
something
they had
like that.
I mean, obviously if they hit the field goal, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
it's 22 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. So 22 seconds, I think he played it right, even with the missed field goal. That's still That's
It was-
really hard because they need a TD, right? So they don't
Yeah.
just need to get into field goal range. So that would be unbelievable if they managed to score from there.
It was just just a correction. It was an 18-yard pass, but it really felt like it was longer because it went from Kansas City 42-yard line to Buffalo's 40.
Yeah.
Right. So like it went from their side of the field to Buffalo's side of the field in less than 5 seconds. So
yeah, and the new kickoff rule, the advanced field positions that people are starting with now. I felt like the Chiefs had pretty good field position off kickoffs. They were get at least a couple of times. They started off in a good spot, and I think that's starting to change the game where you're just not starting on the 25 like it used to be. Like you're seeing teams starting up close to the 40 now, or 35, 36. Yeah. So when you just see that, you're like, oh, that's actually not that far that they have to go with this new kickoff. So I mean, I'm sure teams will eventually adjust and be able to figure out and start pushing it back. But for the rest of the season, so so the Bills. I don't know if the Bills are going to win their division.
Yep, that's going to be tough. It's tougher than originally thought because the New England's not going anywhere. They've won 6 in a row. New
England looks good, and they already beat them once.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that was in Buffalo, right? Yeah, now Buffalo has to steal one back against them in New England. So they're probably going to make the playoffs, but they may not have the division. Well, probably. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I just don't know if it's going to be because they win the division if New England keeps playing like this. And then the Chiefs, let's see what the rest of their schedule looks like.
They got the Broncos twice and the Chargers once, so that's going to be some important division games. But they've already lost the Chargers once already.
Yes. So that's they obviously can't drop another one there. So I guess there's a chance. I don't know. Is there actually a chance they don't make the playoffs if they drop?
Well, if they finish third in their division, they're not going to, right? Because you can't.
I doubt
you'd have to have a better.
I doubt that division sending 3 teams this year.
Yeah. But I don't know.
You don't think they're getting in with 11 wins? Where would the wins have to be? They'd have to. Well, okay. So Indy's going to be tough. Denver's going to be tougher than last year. Indy's going to be tough. Dallas. I mean, Dallas can't stop anybody. Houston would have been tough, but if CJ Stroud's still concussed, that's probably. Now that's the best defense in the NFL, and they play like the best defense. But without Stroud, Houston's not going to. They're just probably not going to be in that game. Chargers are good. Can they beat them again? I don't know. And Tennessee, they're going to beat Tennessee. So yeah, I guess the rest of the schedule, you've got two games where it's obvious that the Chiefs are the 3 obvious: Dallas, Houston, and Tennessee. Where I'm penciling in wins. When you look at it that way, because you've got I'm not sure at Denver. I'm not sure with Indy at home. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Denver or the Chargers. The 2 Denver games or the Charger game. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. This is uncharted territory. It doesn't even feel normal to think, could they possibly not even make the playoffs?
No, these are going to be important regular season games, right? So
yeah,
I think that was there an injury on the Daniels, or no, that was the other,
like a Chiefs injury?
Yeah, no, the Colts with the
quarterback?
Yeah.
Daniel Jones?
No.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think there's the key injury in any team they're facing coming up is Houston.
Okay.
And that's 3-4 weeks from now. Maybe Stroud is back by then. But well, I don't know. This is actually going to be this. Maybe this is going to be right down to the wire for them.
Well, and the other thing, the only last note I had here about the game, we talked about the going for it on 4th down. Both teams did it in the first half, which was crazy. And I think that should go away going forward, because this isn't your Kansas City Chiefs team from like a couple years ago that would like score a lot of points. Like their defense is better and it's more of a possession thing. So I think like at that point, again, you're holding the QB to under 50% completion, they're holding the running back from running a lot. I think you, instead of going for it, I think you would take the punt and the field position. Then instead of having to go for it now, then you use. So I think that'll go away going forward. But we'll see if other people feel the same way I do.
One thing that kind of stuck out to me in the box score is they both had 4 yards per rush, but KC only had 20 rushing attempts and the Bills had 35. When I was watching the game, it felt like the Bills were way more efficient running. But when you see the actual number, it makes me wonder why the Chiefs didn't stick with the run more.
Yeah, no, it did seem like Hunt was efficient, like was working, but they definitely abandoned it at one point. I think a lot of those runs came in the first half. So
yeah, but they weren't so far behind that they just had to go into a passing.
Maybe it was
style
the
of
offensive
game.
line injury stuff that was happening that made them more nervous, because they had a couple people went out, a couple people came back in. Like, I don't know if it was during that stuff either too. So
yeah, that's the other issue with the Chiefs, is that line is they're struggling. They're struggling on the offensive line. I mean, it was obvious, even though the Bills only sacked him 3 times, they kind of were harassing him all game long.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't he wasn't in too many clean pockets where he was really comfortable in the pocket. He and it's not like he's bad on the run. He obviously knows he can do it on the run too, but he just looked really uncomfortable this game, and they were getting after him. One of the better teams this year getting after Mahomes this particular game.
No, you're right about that.
Yeah. So
and the last thing too, I'd say, is that it was nice to watch an NFL game where like penalties didn't, really define the game. Like in terms of, a huge call, a huge no call, the sustaining a drive for the team to get the winning field goal. You know what I mean? So it was decided on the field, which was great.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, all right, they're both really good teams. The Chiefs maybe are just coming back down to earth a little bit from a 15-win season. The thing is, I just don't think they look that much different than last year.
No, they don't. But at the end of the day, like this is going to be a more important regular season for them than it has been in the past. So they can't afford too many more losses going forward.
No. And their division is getting, at least 2 of the teams in their division are getting stronger. All right. Is that everything you got on your notes?
Yep.
That's all I got too. All right. So, well, if you're still with us, we appreciate you checking out our channel. We know it's small. We just started it last year. So if you like what we got going on and you'd like to support us, a like and a subscribe goes a long way, and we'd super appreciate it. So for Jeff Dover, I'm John Barbin, and that's your Saturday versus Sunday podcast.